that's tight now.
Okay, so what I did was I attached the drill, right, and had the two pieces of copper wire, and then I put that and attached it to this here. Gotta work with the tools you have, right? So essentially I took a regular lock and put it through the hole on the bus to get this long section here, right? Twisting everything to the right. And then using the cubit length, Egyptian cubit length. And so this one's mine. I have a bit of a smaller wrist and hand, and so it will dangle a little bit, you know. But this is the tensor ring bracelet that I make, and this one I'm making for a buddy of mine on here. And then I use the can to wrap it around to create a good circle here with a nice diameter. I made it slightly larger than mine just in case his hands might be a little bit longer or bigger than mine, to accommodate him in that way. But we'll be making two of these, and I made a few feet length so I could just go through and make a whole bunch. Isn't that cool? So by the time it's all done, it's gonna look like this. And let me tell you, and this is what, so this section here is solder, it's solderless, right? So I take the two ends, and once I connect them, I will wire wrap this. Actually, I end up doing that around a screwdriver to create the exact dimension on the inside so that this can go through the channel and then connect the two. So instead of blazing, or brazing is what they call it, essentially welding the two pieces together with solder, copper solder, you can use solderless, just a little bit more wire, a little bit more copper wire, and it connects to two pieces, and that's how this is made. And I get tingles every time I wear it. So the only reason I'm not wearing it is because it keeps flopping down when I'm trying to work on this, but freaking exciting. Anyway, I'm gonna show you guys the rest. All right, so just snipped it. So mine's a little bit smaller, I'll be doing that. In fact, you know what? I'm gonna put it on anyway. We're gonna work with that. So boom, see? So essentially the hand is what we're trying to go over, right? Because it's a full circle. Now I'm making his a little bit bigger than mine. So I may end up removing a little material just in case, but we'll be making this a little something like that. Just a little bit larger, you know? All right, cool. Okay, so we're gonna put these two pieces together. I might take just a smidge off, and the cool thing about the copper is it doesn't go to waste, because if I decided to toss some in some epoxy or something, which I don't sell any Orgonite stuff, I leave that to the professionals, one of which is our friend Skitter, makes phenomenal copper items and jewelry and Orgonite, and just incredibly healing. You gotta check it out. I'm gonna tag her in this. But I am not one to have any kind of competition stuff. I don't believe in that. I think there's room for everyone, but I'm not going to go into that realm of, like, you know, epoxy stuff. That's her thing, and she rocks it. So this is the extent of what I'm going to do. Okay, so we will put these two pieces together here, and look, we still got all this extra to make more copper tensor rings. And there's stuff you can even, like your garden. If I were to spiral this and snip it, you can put this at your garden, and it's gonna help literally grow twice as fast. So if you are growing a garden right now and you're like, dang, I need to keep pests away and such, get you a few of those. That's the way to do it. All right, so we're gonna get on to the next part, which is to be able to combine these two sections here, to connect these two sections here with solderless. It's just going to be more wire, and of course so our thin wire. Okay, so yeah, sure, maybe there's easier ways to do this. In fact, I'm damn certain there are, but this is the best thing that I have because I don't own a vice grip or anything that's like in the bus, like a workshop. So until I have that, this is how I have to do it, and it strengthens my hands along the process. So check this out. I create my loop. So I'll get a little loop going here on this like jeweler's plier, but I am definitely no jeweler. And then that will fit around this. So I'll just open that up a smidge, ever so slightly. And there's a reason for this, and you'll see. So I fit that on here because I figured out that when I make the thickness of this right here, right, ends up being this essentially the perfect size for that to fit in there, and then I can clamp it down. So this is what I do. And I take this and I squeeze real good, real deep like. And we just take this and I squeeze tight, and I just nice and slowly wrap the copper around. And I do probably about 3 inches or so, 2.5, 3 inches. I eyeball this stuff. I'm not too, I don't really care about like it being like some like perfect science, other than the length for the cubit, the cubit length and everything, because that actually is a bit more specific. But anywho, so we're gonna shift on over ever so slightly. And again, this is the best way I know how to do this. And then we just keep going. We just keep going. And then that will end up being that section. We connect the two, and I'll show you in a second. All right, so we take that, then the two ends, and we meet these two together, and we eyeball it. See, make sure you have, you know, when those two ends connect, we want equal coverage over here and over here. And this isn't a totally perfect circle in this moment, but we'll work that out later. Also, 222 on the timestamp. I'm gonna have to send my buddy Nick this. This is crazy. All right, then I just start to crimp these ends here. So we just go over here. And after that's crimped, so just like mine, bada bing, bada boom. And we'll just do a little slight reshape here. Boom. Yeah, let's go.